Hey guys, I'm Ish and welcome to another export settings video. If you've been watching my channel, you know that my previous post was about 1080p exports. Well, actually, this was the first of 3 videos about export settings. So yes, I did say 3. The first one was 1080p. This one, the second one, will be dedicated to 4K. And the third one, the next one that I haven't shot yet, will be dedicated to my YouTube exports. Because yes, I do export differently for YouTube than I do for clients. So if you want to know what the difference is, well, I guess you'll have to wait. But to make sure you don't miss that video, I suggest you subscribe to my channel right now if you haven't already. And otherwise, I'll keep this short because obviously there's a lot of stuff that is very similar to what was in the previous video. So the way I'll do it, I won't really explain everything I'll do. I'll go through obviously every tick and every number that you need to put in or change, but I won't explain what everything does. So if there's something that you're not too sure about, you want to understand what that actually does, you just need to watch my previous video about my 1080p exports and it would all make sense then. So without further ado, let's get into my computer and get this done. Okay, so we are back in Premiere Pro and we have here a 4K sequence featuring the USA basketball team. And as I mentioned last time, there are some basic settings that you need to set up at the very beginning before you even start editing if you want to achieve the best quality possible. So for example, if we open our sequence settings, you'll see that the frame size, the aspect ratio, the fields, even the audio sample rate, these are all things that I set up from the get-go. The video preview section at the bottom doesn't impact the export at all, so we don't really have to worry about that today, but the video and audio sections are very important from the very start. So once our sequence settings are exactly the way we want them, we obviously edit the whole thing, and once we're done, we can finally open the export window. Now, first off, we want to confirm that we're exporting the right portion of our sequence, whether it's the entire thing or just a section that we can identify on our timeline or here with an in and an out. Then we are going to leave the Match Sequence Settings box unchecked, select H.264 as our format. Let's also make sure that both the Export Video and Export Audio boxes are checked so that we have video and audio in our finished product. Then in the audio section, once again, we're not going to touch anything. So still AAC audio format and codec, still 48 kHz sample rate, stereo channels, high quality, 320 bitrate, and precedence to bitrate. In the video section, we're going to start by clicking the Match Source button, and therefore our frame size, frame rate, field order, and aspect ratio should all be good to go, and we do not need to uncheck or change any of them. We will, however, check this box right here to make sure that our exported file is rendered at the maximum quality. And in the encoding settings, we will change the profile to high and the level to 5.2. Last time, if you remember, it was 4.2, but here for 4K, we have to go higher at 5.2. Now let's get into the good stuff, the bitrate. This is where you decide how big your file is going to be. But with 4K, if your video is longer than a minute, it's always going to be a big file. So if your client is complaining about the file size, which trust me, they will, ask them if they really need the video to be in 4K or if 1080p would be enough. And if they do want to go the 4K route, then my personal recipe for the best quality versus file size combination is a VBR 2-pass bitrate encoding with a 40 megabits per second target bitrate and a 75 megabit per second maximum bitrate. And in case you were wondering, once again, activating the VBR 2-pass forced my encoding settings performance to software encoding, which is fine. Now all that's left to do is check the Use Maximum Render Quality box, and we can now save our new 4K preset and name it 4K Output. So there you go. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss my next and probably last export settings video ever. That one will be fully dedicated to how I export my YouTube videos and why I do it differently than when I export for clients. In the meantime, again, thank you for watching. My name is E, and as usual, I hope I earned the privilege of your time.